The Psylocke's capital fleet drifted silently through the cold black of space. Their ships were works of terrifying beauty, long, sleek hulls shaped like giant insect wings. Bioluminescent veins pulsed beneath armored carapaces, glowing a ghostly blue-green. The fleet stretched across the void like a shimmering swarm, waiting. High Captain Vorsk stood on the bridge of the flagship Xathul, his many eyes scanning the starfield. His voice was low and cold, filling the command chamber with a sharp edge. "Humans," he said, spitting the word out like a curse. "Fragile creatures, no better than soft meat in thin shells." Beside him, a Zelmar diplomat frowned. The Zelmar were tall, with pale, scaly skin and wide, dark eyes. They served as the Psylocke's reluctant allies. The diplomat's voice was smooth but wary. "The Terrans," he said, using the human's own name, "are primitive. Their technology is outdated. Their ships lack the grace and precision of our own designs." Vorsk nodded, his mandibles clicking softly. "Their shields flicker like dying fireflies. Their weapons lack power. I do not see how these weaklings could threaten the Psylocke's empire." A cluster of holographic screens floated before him, flickering with images of humans in battle. Small, bulky ships firing clumsy energy blasts. Ships that fell apart too easily under Psylocke's plasma storms. "Skirmishes along the frontier have proven this," Vorsk said. "They retreat when pressed. They lack coordination. They are disorganized." The Zelmar diplomat raised a hand. "Yet, some of the elder races warned us about Terran unpredictability, that their anger, superstition," Vorsk interrupted sharply. "Old ghosts whisper tales of humans as wild beasts driven by rage. We see only fragile bodies and primitive tactics." He tapped a control panel. A glowing map of the Othar belt appeared. A cluster of minor human outposts floated among rocky asteroids. "Begin scouting near the Othar belt," Vorsk commanded. "Send forward probes. Be prepared for a minor strike." "Let us test their mettle and their weakness." The Zelmar diplomat sighed but gave no argument. "We will observe, but I caution you, High Captain, humans are not so easy to dismiss." Vorsk's eyes narrowed. "Dismiss they shall be. We hold the stars. They are nothing but pests." On another screen, archival footage rolled, thousands of years old. Humans fighting among themselves on their homeworld. Wars full of chaos and blood. Yet none had ever pushed beyond their own small system in any serious challenge. "They have never been a threat," Vorsk said with finality. The bridge crew snapped to their stations. The Psylocke ships began to glow brighter, engines humming with deadly promise. Outside, distant stars shimmered coldly. The humans remained unaware. Their world was quiet, too quiet. Vorsk's voice broke the silence again. "Prepare the fleet. Let us show these fragile Terrans the true meaning of power. They will learn their place or be crushed beneath our heels." A sharp tap on the console alerted him. Scouts had detected human patrols near the belt. Vorsk smiled thinly. "So begins the end of their illusions." The Psylocke's fleet surged forward, a shimmering swarm of death moving to strike. But in the cold depths of space, beneath the quiet surface of that fragile human world, something stirred, something the Psylocke's had not expected. And Vorsk, for all his confidence, did not yet realize the storm he was about to awaken. As the Psylocke's commanders stared in disbelief at the humans' fierce defiance, an old warning echoed through their minds, forgotten tales of a power they had hoped never to face again. The Psylocke's council chamber was cold and vast. Towering crystalline pillars glowed with inner light. Holographic star maps floated between them, showing the edge of human space and the Othar belt where the conflict brewed. The air hummed with quiet tension. High Delegate Enthrek of the Psylocke's tapped a sharp claw against a glowing pillar. "These humans, they defy logic. Their bodies are fragile, their weapons primitive, yet their fury burns like a star." Beside him, Elder Zelmar Delegate Raltek adjusted his robes. His eyes, dark and deep, carried the weight of ancient knowledge. "I warned you all. The extinct races pass down stories of the Terran's strange nature. They fight not for glory or conquest, but for each other." Raltek's voice lowered, almost a whisper. "They have what we lack, unbreakable loyalty, and a rage fueled by loss. When one falls, the others answer with a storm of violence no intellect can predict." Psylocke's analysts flicked through holographic records. Images showed humans in ancient Earth wars clenching weapons tightly around fallen comrades. They charged into impossible battles, screaming for their pack. The others had always seen this as madness. One analyst, young and eager, said, "Physically, they are weak. Their shields flicker under pressure. Their ships are smaller and less armored. They should break." Another shook his head, "But their unpredictability is troubling. We cannot model their rage with the usual simulations. It is chaotic." The council chamber filled with murmurs. Some delegates urged caution. Delegate Rekthun spoke firmly. "We have faced countless species. None have such blind devotion. It makes them dangerous." Nenthrek's eyes narrowed. "Dangerous, yes, but not a threat to our fleets. They are too small, too fragile. We will strike swiftly. Their fury will burn out." Raltek folded his hands. The elder races spoke of the Terran fury, a force awakened by death and loss. They warned it could consume entire fleets. Warnings from ghosts, Rekthun snapped. "We cannot cower behind old tales." Still, a shadow crossed Nenthrek's face. "Very well. We authorize a probing attack near the Othar belt. Confirm their weakness." A hologram flickered, showing the minor human outpost glowing faintly on the map. Raltek's voice was steady but somber. "Remember, even the smallest spark can set the galaxy aflame." As the council voted, the chamber's light dimmed. The Psylocke's commanders prepared to test the humans and to prove the elders wrong. Outside, the stars waited silently. On the bridge of the Psylocke's flagship, High Captain Vorsk paced with measured steps. "We move too slow," he muttered. "These humans cling to their fallen." "It makes no sense," his lieutenant, a sleek Exelmar named Tolar, replied. "Your orders, Captain. The Council expects results." Vorsk's eyes glowed faintly. "We will see if their rage lasts. If not, this will be a quick lesson." Across the void, the humans readied themselves, unaware of the storm gathering. But in the depths of their ships, Colonel Magnus Eriksson and Colonel Jamin Park tightened their grips on controls. They knew the cost of loyalty, and they were ready to pay it. But while the Psylocke studied ancient warnings, Colonel Magnus Eriksson readied his men, knowing that humans never back down when it comes to protecting their own. The UESN Sovereign hung in the cold blackness near the Othar belt, its hull scarred but unyielding. Brooding stars twinkled far behind, untouched by the tension inside the bridge. The warship was a fortress. Thick armor plates shimmered under dim emergency lights. Turret barrels jutted like steel claws, ready to rip apart any threat. It was a symbol of human strength, rough, relentless, and unbreakable. Magnus stood tall in his battle-worn uniform. His silver-streaked hair caught the low glow of the command console. His eyes, sharp and steady, scanned the tactical displays with quiet intensity. Years of war had carved lines on his face, but had never dulled his spirit. Around him, the bridge buzzed with focused energy. "Colonel Eriksson, all systems green. Weapons ready," reported Colonel Jamin Park, tactical officer and Magnus' closest advisor. Park's voice was calm and precise, a steady anchor amid the waiting storm. Magnus nodded. "Good. Keep scanners on full sweep. We don't expect trouble here, but we're not caught flat-footed either." Park's fingers danced across the holo panel. Othar belt remained stable. No unusual activity detected. "Let's keep it that way," Magnus said, voice low but firm. "Squadron leader Castillo's fighters are in formation nearby. Well run the patrol as planned." Zuri Castillo's voice crackled over comms, sharp and confident. "Sovereign, Eclipse Squadron, ready for orders. We watch each other's backs, always." Magnus smiled briefly. "Copy that, Eclipse. Keep tight formations. Report anything out of the ordinary." The crew exchanged quiet smiles. Bonded by countless missions, they trusted each other like family. In their world, loyalty was more than a word. It was a shield. Park leaned forward, eyes flicking between readings. "Sir, I've uploaded the latest sensor scans from the outpost on Othar 7. All quiet. No signs of hostile activity. Magnus relaxed just a fraction. Good. But stay alert. We honor every soldier who's fallen on patrol. Their sacrifice isn't forgotten." He remembered Zura's words from a training run last month. Shed said, "We don't leave anyone behind, not on my watch." That was more than protocol. It was a promise, a human promise. In the crew quarters, pilots shared stories of those no longer with them, tales of courage, of sacrifice, of fighting till the last breath. The walls hummed with memories, voices echoing loyalty that transcended death. Remember when Captain Harlan took down 3 enemy craft before going down himself? One pilot said, eyes shining. He bought us time. That's what counts. Yeah, another replied. We don't just fight for glory. We fight for each other. Back on the bridge, the air was thick with quiet confidence. Magnus' gaze hardened as he looked out toward the Othar belt. Whatever comes, we face it together. The Sovereign's engines thrummed with restrained power. Outside, the distant asteroid belt glittered like shattered glass, silent witnesses to the calm before the storm. Suddenly, Park's console beeped. Captain, I'm detecting unidentified contacts at the edge of sensor range. Multiple vessels moving fast. Magnus' fingers clenched around the console edge. How many? Too many to count, sir. They're closing in. Alert Eclipse Squadron. Prepare for possible engagement. Understood, Park replied. Shields at full power. Weapons hot. Magnus took a deep breath. All hands brace for contact. Remember your training. We protect our own. No one gets left behind. The crew snapped to action, hands flying over controls. The Sovereign's weapons systems hummed louder, ready to unleash hell. Magnus' voice was calm but fierce. This isn't just duty, it's loyalty, it's family, and we will stand no matter the cost. Outside the viewports, dark shapes bloomed against the stars. The Psylocke's fleet had begun their silent approach, but they had no idea what they were about to awaken. But as the humans' anger burned brighter than any star, the Psylocke's commanders exchanged grim looks, ready to unleash their deadliest weapon in a desperate bid to end the fight. Without warning, a swarm of sleek Psylocke strike vessels slipped out of stealth near the Othar belt. Their dark hulls shimmered with eerie bioluminescence, casting ghostly glows across the void. Plasma torpedoes streaked forward, glowing red-hot against the black backdrop of space. Shields at 30%. Colonel J-Men Park's voice cracked over the Sovereign's comms. They came out of nowhere. Colonel Magnus Eriksson gritted his teeth. All hands, battle stations, return fire and prepare evasive maneuvers. Human ships scattered like startled birds. The UESN Sovereign and its escort vessels twisted and turned, trying to avoid the incoming onslaught. Energy beams lanced through space, slicing at human shields. Sparks and flickers danced across the hull of the Sovereign, warning lights blinking furiously. Captain Castillo's squadron is engaging, Park reported. They're trying to intercept the lead strike group. The UESN Eclipse, piloted by Captain Zuri Castillo, zipped through the chaos. Her fighters weaved through plasma arcs and enemy fire with aggressive precision. But the Psylocke's had overwhelming numbers. A plasma torpedo hit one of Zuri's wingmen. The fighter exploded into a fiery bloom, debris scattering like deadly shrapnel. "Wingman down!" Castillo shouted, voice tight with urgency. "Cover me!" Suddenly, a massive energy beam slammed into the Eclipse. The fighter shuddered violently, engines flaring red-hot before the ship broke apart in a brilliant flash. "Silence! No!" Park's voice broke. "Zuri is gone. I repeat, the squadron leader is lost." Magnus tightened his grip on the command console. The loss hit like a punch to the gut. "Pull back, regroup at Point Delta," he ordered, "and prepare for a rescue mission. We're bringing our people home, dead or alive." The Psylocke's command ship's bridge buzzed with smug satisfaction. High Captain Vorsk's many-eyed visage gleamed in the dim light. "Human losses are mounting," Vorsk mused coldly. "They are weak, disorganized. Their fury will not save them." A Zelmar diplomat, tall and slender with translucent skin, nodded. "Their primitive shields and thin hulls cannot withstand sustained assault. The humans will fall quickly." Back on the Sovereign, human radio chatter was chaotic but fierce. "Well, get her back," a pilot growled. "No one gets left behind." "They don't understand us," Park whispered, scanning the enemy formations. "This isn't just fear. It's fury. It's something deeper." Magnus' eyes burned with determination. "Then they'll learn soon enough." The alien attack intensified. Psylocke's plasma volleys hammered the human fleet relentlessly. Hylock's plasma volleys hammered the human fleet relentlessly. The UESN Prometheus, normally a powerful warship, struggled to hold formation under constant fire. "Shields failing on the Eclipse escort!" Park shouted. "We're being pushed to the edge." Explosions blossomed across human vessels. Smoke and debris trailed from damaged engines. The fleet's formation frayed under the pressure. Yet in the midst of chaos, human voices rang out with stubborn defiance. "For Zuri!" shouted a fighter pilot. "For all of us!" The Psylocke's command sensed something unexpected. The humans, battered and outgunned, refused to break. Vorsk frowned. "They are angry." "This is no ordinary species. Order the strike drones to finish them," the Zelmar diplomat urged. "We cannot waste more ships on this fragile race." But as the battle raged, the Psylocks underestimated one critical fact. Human fury was just beginning to burn. The void around the Othar belt grew darker with plasma fire and shattered metal. Human ships, battered and bleeding, prepared to fight harder than anyone expected. Magnus' voice came steady, cold as steel. "Hold the line. We fight for every fallen comrade." The Psylocks fleet pressed forward, confident in their superior firepower. But the humans would show them that fury, loyalty, and courage were weapons far deadlier than any plasma cannon. This was only the beginning. As the Psylocks unleashed their fiercest assault, Colonel Erickson's eyes narrowed, ready to reveal the secret that had kept humanity alive against impossible odds. "Activate Fury Protocol," he ordered, voice steady over the comm. At once, the human fleet shifted. Ships linked their tactical AIs into a single living network. Data flowed like lightning, weaving patterns no alien could predict. "J-Men, synchronize every system. We're about to become a hive mind," Magnus said. Colonel Park's fingers flew across the console. "Aye, Colonel. AI link is stable." "We're adjusting fire patterns in real time." The Psylocks, with their sleek insectoid craft, had expected disorganized resistance. Instead, they faced a force evolving faster than their sensors could track. Human fighters surged forward, fearless and focused. They fought not just for survival, but for honor. "Focus all fire on the wreckage of Eclipse," Magnus commanded. "We're not leaving Zuri behind." The blackened shell of UESN Eclipse floated among debris. Flames flickered where the hull had ruptured. Psylocke ships circled, eager to claim the kill. But the humans would not falter. Smaller human vessels swarmed like wasps. They darted between enemy plasma bolts, weaving tight formations. Each pilot moved with lethal precision, defending their fallen comrades' remains. "Look at this, J-Men," Magnus said, voice low but fierce. "They think they've broken us. They don't know what fury means." Park studied the tactical display. "Our AI just predicted their next 5 moves. We're adapting faster than they can fire." Across the battlefield, Psylocke's commanders exchanged worried glances. Their scanners showed sudden spikes in human coordination and aggression. "Impossible," Vorsk growled. "They should be broken." But humans fought harder when protecting fallen friends. It was more than strategy. It was pure, unyielding rage. A flashback cut through Magnus' mind. Years ago, on a distant battlefield on Earth, soldiers had fallen. Their brothers and sisters had formed a circle around them. No enemy could pass. That memory fueled the Fury Protocol, a desperate plan encoded deep into human combat doctrine. "Fury Protocol is about loyalty, Colonel," Park said quietly. "It's why we never leave anyone behind." Magnus nodded, determination hardening his features. "Then let's show the Psylocks what loyalty really means." Human AI networks pulsed through the fleet like a beating heart. Ships shared targeting data instantly. When one pilot spotted a weakness, every ship struck together. The Psylocks fleet faltered. Their sleek ships, once confident and menacing, now scattered under the relentless human assault. "Commander Vorsk is stunned," a Zelmar officer whispered. "They've become something unpredictable." Magnus' voice cut through the chaos. "Secure Zuri's remains." "Well, bring her home." Human craft closed in on the wreckage. They swept aside Psylocke's patrols with brutal efficiency. Flames and debris swirled as they salvaged every piece. Back on the Sovereign, Magnus looked to his crew. "This is more than a battle. It's a promise." Park smiled grimly. "Every time we lose one of our own, we become stronger." Outside, the battlefield echoed with human defiance. Laser fire streaked like lightning. Explosions bloomed in the dark void. The Psylocks had thought humans fragile, weak, and impulsive. They were dead wrong. Humans fought with something no alien technology could replicate. Fury born from love, loyalty, and unbreakable bonds. "Fury Protocol is active," Park confirmed. "Our enemy is unraveling." Magnus' gaze hardened. "Then keep the pressure. No retreat. No surrender." The human fleet pressed forward, relentless and united. The secret was clear. Humanity's greatest weapon was not their ships or guns. It was their will to protect each other, no matter the cost. And that fury would be their salvation. As the truth about human strength came to light, Colonel Erickson stepped forward, his voice steady but fierce, ready to share what drove their unyielding fury. The vast expanse of space shimmered behind him on the view screen. The Psylocke and Zelmar fleet commanders watched in silence, their glowing eyes narrowing. They expected weakness. What they heard instead was a challenge carved from iron. Psylocke. Zelmar, Magnus began, his tone calm but filled with steel. You think we are fragile? That we break when one of us falls. He paused, letting the weight of his words settle. You think a single loss will make us cower? You think it will make us scatter like frightened prey? His eyes burned with quiet fire. You are wrong. Magnus turned to his tactical officer, Colonel Jae-min Park, who nodded once. Park's sharp gaze reflected the same fierce resolve. We are humans. We do not run from loss. We do not forget those who fall beside us. A flicker of movement passed across the alien commanders' faces, something like unease. Magnus raised his hand, and behind him the holographic image shifted. It showed ancient Earth battlefields, trench lines, smoke and fire, soldiers standing shoulder to shoulder, refusing to yield. Look at our history, Magnus said. Every war we fought, every battle we lost, we stood taller the next day. For every fallen comrade, our rage doubled, our will sharpened like a blade. The Psylocke's commander, High Captain Vorsk, exchanged a glance with the Zelmar envoy, their usual cold confidence thinning. You call this fury irrational, volatile, Magnus continued, but it is our loyalty is unbreakable. Our courage unstoppable. He leaned forward, voice dropping to a deadly whisper. You attacked us. You took one of ours. You thought it would break us, but you have awakened a storm you cannot control. Magnus' words echoed across the communications channel like a thunderclap. For every human you lose, your losses will double. For every life you take, your fleets will pay with their own blood. Behind Magnus, human crews stood at their stations, their faces grim but unwavering. Jaemin's fingers danced over the console, relaying data that confirmed their rising battle efficiency. Our Fury protocol is not just tactics, Magnus said. It is our promise. No one is left behind, no one forgotten. He clenched his fist. We fight with the memory of our fallen burning in our hearts. That fire will consume you. The human captain's voice softened, but the threat remained. You may have weapons sharper than ours, lasers hotter than our forge, but you lack one thing. He looked straight into the comm feed, as if staring down every alien commander. You lack the soul of humanity. A quiet settled over the alien fleet. The glowing carapaces of the Psylocke's warships pulsed in eerie rhythm. The Zelmar's crystalline hulls shimmered uncertainly. Magnus' voice cut through the silence once more. Turn back now. Leave our space. Let this be a warning. His voice grew fierce again. Prepare to meet the fury of every human who ever fought for their friends. We will not stop. We will not surrender. We will avenge every fallen comrade. He took a breath, steady and sure. This is our war cry. Jaemin's eyes met Magnus, their bond unspoken but clear. Magnus finished with a final chilling line. You have no idea what you've unleashed. As the transmission ended, human crews exchanged determined looks. The fire in their eyes burned brighter than the stars outside. The humans fight not for glory or conquest, but for each other, and that was a force no alien technology could contain. But just when the Psylocke thought they had the upper hand, something in the humans' fierce spirit sparked a change no one expected. The tide was about to turn. The UESN Sovereign's bridge buzzed with sudden energy. Colonel Magnus Erickson's calm eyes burned with purpose. Beside him, Colonel Jae-min Park tapped commands into the tactical console. The ship's AI hummed as it linked with nearby vessels. Fury protocol is fully active, Park announced. All tactical AIs are synchronized. Enemy movements are predicted with 95% accuracy. Magnus nodded. Good. Let's remind them why they should never count on breaking us. Outside, the battlefield shifted. Human fighters darted like swarms of angry hornets. They moved with deadly precision, weaving through plasma storms and dodging energy beams. Every pilot knew the cost of failure. Each move was to protect those who had fallen and those still fighting. "Eclipse Squadron, form up," Magnus ordered. The squadron leader's voice crackled over comms. "Roger, Colonel. We're ready to strike back." Zuri Castillo's surviving wingmates led the charge. Their sleek fighters sliced through the Psylocke lines, focusing fire on command ships. The aliens' insectoid vessels, once confident and imposing, now reeled under sudden fierce assault. "Command ship Delta is hit," a pilot shouted. "Their shields are down," Magnus smiled grimly. "Keep pressing. Target their nerve centers." The Psylocke's fleet faltered. The Zelmar cruisers, known for their heavy plasma turrets, struggled to adjust to the humans' unpredictable tactics. Their beams often passed harmlessly as human ships twisted away at the last moment. Vorsk's voice thundered on his flagship's bridge. "What is this madness? Their moves, this coordination, they are no longer wheat prey." An officer responded nervously. "Their AI is learning, adapting faster than anything we've seen." The humans were not just fighting, they were evolving mid-battle. "Magnus, incoming Zelmar reinforcements from Sector 4, Park warned. "Let them come," Magnus said. "We have a surprise." Suddenly, a shadow fleet appeared on the horizon. The UESN Prometheus, a massive warship, surged into the conflict. Its broadside cannons unleashed torrents of kinetic shells and plasma bolts. "Prometheus has arrived," Park reported. "Reinforcements are engaging enemy formations." The Psylocke lines began to crumble. Their beautiful bioluminescent hulls flickered and dimmed as human firepower struck vital systems. The alien ships that once hovered confidently now scattered like frightened insects. Magnus looked to the tactical display. "Focus all fire on Vorsk's flagship. If we take out the command, the rest will break." "Understood, Colonel," Park replied. "Locking target." They twisted through the chaos, dodging plasma bursts and returning fire with ruthless efficiency. "Zuri's squadron on me," Magnus commanded. "We're going for the kill shot." The pilots moved as one. They struck the command ship's weak point, an exposed sensor array glowing faintly beneath its armored plates. A sudden explosion rocked the Vorsk flagship. Massive cracks raced across its hull. The Psylocke's captain's voice was strained. "Shields failing. We're taking heavy losses." Magnus' voice cut through the chaos. "You underestimated us. You mistook our loyalty for weakness." "You were wrong. The humans didn't just fight for victory, they fought for each other. We're not leaving anyone behind," a pilot radioed, eyes fierce. "Zura's body is still out there." Magnus' jaw tightened. "Prepare recovery drones. We're bringing her home." As the drones swarmed the battlefield, human ships formed protective screens. The Psylocke tried to break through, but the humans' fury was a wall no enemy could breach. Vorsk's frustration boiled over. Pull back now! We cannot hold this line." But the retreat was disorganized. The Psylocke ships limped away, battered and broken. The humans pressed the advantage. "Magnus, they're retreating," Park reported, eyes scanning the fading enemy signatures. "Good," Magnus said. "But this is only the beginning." The human fleet gathered the remains of their fallen. Each recovered comrade was a spark fueling their fury. Each rescue was a promise. "Fall one of us, and 100 will stand stronger." The battlefield was a storm of fire and light. The Psylocke and Zelmar had never faced anything like it. Magnus turned to his bridge crew. "They thought we were fragile. They thought we were disorganized and weak." He locked eyes with Park. "We just showed them what it means to fight as one." Outside, the stars blinked cold and distant, but among the wreckage, human ships shone brighter than ever. The tide had turned. The fury of humanity was unleashed, and no alien fleet would ever forget it. Just when hope seemed lost, the humans' fierce stand sparked a change no one expected, setting the stage for a final desperate push toward victory. The Psylocke's fleet, once confident and cruel, now faltered under relentless human attacks. Ships that had flown like deadly shadows now burned orange and red against the cold black of space. The eerie bioluminescence of Psylocke's warcraft flickered weakly as their shields crumbled. On the bridge of the UESN Sovereign, Colonel Magnus Eriksson stood firm. His eyes scanned the main viewport, watching the retreating alien vessels. The hum of the ship's engines and the crackle of radio chatter filled the air. But Magnus' voice cut through with calm authority. "Maintain formation," he ordered. "Recover every last pilot. No one left behind." Colonel Jamin Park nodded from the tactical station. "Sir, damage reports are coming in. We've lost 2 escorts, but the rest are holding. Enemy casualties, at least 70% of their fleet's firepower is offline." Magnus allowed a small, grim smile. "They underestimated us. They thought we'd break after losing Zuri. Instead, we showed them what loyalty means." The UESN Eclipse Squadron, battered but undefeated, swarmed back to the Sovereign. Pilots shared quick, proud nods, their fallen leader's memory burning bright in their hearts. The humans' fierce bond was a shield stronger than any technology. The Psylocks could not fathom it. They called it madness. The humans called it family. Across the void, High Captain Vorsk stared in disbelief at the tactical readouts aboard the Psylocks flagship, Nokthar. His mandibles twitched in frustration. "Ow!" he hissed. "Our weapons tore through their shields." Their ships were fragile, yet they fight on with a fury unlike anything we've seen. A Zelmar aide beside him clicked nervously. "They are not just fighting, Captain. They are defending their fallen. Their loyalty is a weapon, one we have not prepared for." Vorsk's gaze darkened. "Enough! We will unleash the Devastator array. Let them feel true despair." The command to activate the deadliest weapon echoed through Nokthar. The Devastator array, a planet-shattering superweapon, was powered up. Its massive spinning cores glowed an ominous red, casting eerie light over the bridge. But on the UESN Sovereign, Magnus was already preparing his fleet for what was to come. "Park, alert the fleet," he said. "We've faced worse odds before. This fight is far from over." Jamin's fingers flew over the console. "All ships report ready. Shields reinforced. Weapon systems online. Fury protocol remains active." Magnus nodded, then rose to address the crew over the ship-wide intercom. "Today, we fought and won because we never forgot who we are," he said, voice steady and strong. "We defend each other. We fight harder for every fallen comrade. Our fury is not chaos, it is our power." A sharp alarm blared suddenly. Tactical sensors showed the first beams of the Devastator array streaking toward a nearby human colony world. Panic flickered in the crew's eyes, but Magnus' voice stayed calm. "Divert all available firepower to intercept," he commanded. "This is our home. Their weapon will not touch it." Human ships surged forward, weaving through enemy fire, forming a shield of steel and courage around the colony. Plasma blasts and missile volleys clashed with devastating energy from the Devastator. Explosions bloomed in space, lighting up the darkness like violent stars. The Devastator's beams began to weaken, disrupted by fierce human counterattacks targeting its power cores. Back on the Nokthar, Vorsk's eyes widened. "No! They will not let us break them! Prepare for full retreat!" "Captain," the Zelmar aide whispered, "we may have underestimated humanity's resolve. This is not a species to be dismissed." But Vorsk was already signaling a withdrawal, his pride wounded. The Psylocks fleet limped away, battered and confused. On board the UESN Sovereign, Magnus watched the enemy retreat with a mix of relief and warning. "This victory is ours," he said quietly, "but the war is just beginning." Park turned, concern shadowing her face. Their weapon, if fully unleashed, it could destroy entire worlds. Magnus clenched his jaw. "Then we make sure it never fires again. We prepare, we train, we build." He stepped to the viewport, gazing at the battered fleet gathering behind them. "We fight for every comrade," he said softly. "And when you force our fury, you unleash a force no one can stop." The human fleet assembled, engines glowing with determination. The UESN Sovereign led the charge, followed by the Eclipse and Prometheus. As distant stars glittered cold and silent, humanity stood unbroken, ready to face the storm, ready to show the galaxy that human fury was the true superweapon. The screen fades to black on the stoic faces of Magnus and his crew, a promise burning in their eyes. The fury of humanity had only just begun.